Hey, again, welcome to another video here on Testing Bootcamp. So we're going to talk about extended more on security goals today. So it's a big topic, but I'm going to try and make it short. So let's talk about more on security goals. Now, I want to say that last time we talked about security goals, we talked about confidentiality, integrity, and availability, right? But there are more to it than just that. And this is what this video is all about. And basically, when you're going to have the conversation with your boss or your team about security in your company, well, this is going to be bringing more, it's going to bring more balls to the table. And, the round ones that, you kick. Yeah, so it's gonna bring more to the table. So let's get on with this. Now, just to recap a bit, security goals so far is the C, the I, and the A from the CA Triad, and of course, it is quite difficult to ensure those just alone. So what we're gonna need is to introduce more different security goals. You can talk about how to ensure stuff like, I read in this particular slide here, it's called multi-factor authentication. That is another security goal you can also implement. And it doesn't really ensure the C or the I and the A at all, but it's a backing up mechanism to make sure that your confidentiality at least is not that easily broken, so you're keeping the secret. And the integrity part really is whenever someone is giving access, now the access given is going to be to the one person with the right amount of clearance, right? So security goals are difficult and they're vast and there are many of them, but I'm going to try and give you an idea about which other there are so you can, further on investigate it. Some people also call security goals controls. You can do that, I guess. It's not exactly the same. A control is more like a countermeasure or some sort of measure to ensure some sort of security goal, but it is in theory the same. And I would probably not call it control, but some people do. First of all, let's just take a glance at the list here. We see many different kind of security goals. We do see something like accountability, which is one I talked about before, about you cannot escape that you did it. You are held accountable to that you are the one doing it. Tamper proof, another one, that you create some sort of mechanism that hackers cannot tamper with, so they can gain control of it or manipulate it to their own need, in the way you could say it. So that many different kind of security goals right here, and I just pick some that I found here and there and put it in a list, and basically this is gonna be many different kind of security goals you will have to look at some point, because when you talk about the confidentiality, integrity, and availability at the three big chosen security goals there are, your technicians or the non-technicians will talk about other things. The technicians could probably talk about how to implement multi-factor authentication. They could talk about how to do firewall, or doing some. Should we use access control, or should we listen another way to ensure our confidentiality? So there are many different security goals you can talk about, and all of them are relevant, but not all of them is needed in your company, and you should choose the ones that is make the most sense for you. There are of course some tools you can use to ensure confidentiality and just to break the stick a bit for you. You could use something like encryption, of course. Encrypt your data, that is trying to put an extra layer on the top of your plain text data. Use access control, that is really important. How would you control your access to your stuff, to your assets? The authentication is providing that you can authorize who's trying to get access. So do you need authorization or not? That's the thing. Authentication, I skipped one, is when you are trying to tell the application you are some person. So that's different kind of things. Authorization and authentication commonly, misunderstood or just as the same. In a way, you could say that they are, but they are not. Authentication, as it says, is trying to verify whether you're authorized to gain access or not if you can log into an application, which is the authentication part. Is this, account authenticated by us? Physical security, another thing you can, do to ensure confidentiality. You could buy some bigger locks, bigger doors, better windows, what they call what's it called, bulletproof glass and stuff like that. There are many things you could do in order to ensure confidentiality, and the ones we're gonna present is the one we have here. So also we want to ensure integrity. There are different ways you can do that, because if your integrity is broken, it could be from some sort of malware or something, then of course you need to have some good backups, because the backup is really just, as the word is, it is your backup. So if something happens, you can get back to the business as usual. Checksum is also really good thing. It's a computational function, and really it can be used for many things, but also just to verify whether the data is true or not, or the integrity is not broken. Error correction codes, methods for controlling errors during an unreliable data transfer or some sort of noisy transfer channel. So that is of course also something that could be done to ensure integrity, because sometimes signals can be skewed upon or altered in some way. And it's kind of difficult to understand sometimes how the hackers find out to do it, but they do it. They do it because they have a world of time to find out these kind of things. Availability is the third one that we're going to talk about in this particular case. Physical protection, safeguarding your stuff, having a door, making sure that you bought the best physical container for your servers, good heat, what's it called, heat manipulation, so you got some air con in place and stuff. So many things could be a really good idea to have in order to protect your physical assets. Computational redundancy, so it kind of makes the system fault tolerant and protect against accidents and modifications. That is another really good thing. That is not something you just you don't just do that by pressing two buttons. You need some sort of software. That everything is software, of course, because nothing on a computer runs without software. You can buy a chip, but on the chip there's a software. So really, everything is software. And whenever you need something and you don't exactly know what it is, just think to yourself, there's some sort of software you need to set up. So now that we talked about the CIA one more time in a bit more advanced glance, you could say how to achieve other security goals. Well, you need of course to have really good staff under you or working beside you. So that's some professional staff to consult as well sometimes if there's something you cannot do, or it's too difficult to alone, or maybe you need more education to do it. Then of course you can seek professional consultant help. So I want to say that security costs a lot of money, and basically it's one of the things that you companies might think that, okay, so we're gonna add on the security layer, and this is gonna cost us like 40% X on the top. So who's gonna pay for that? Now that is not my I should not answer the question, but it is kind of the way it is, because raw functionality does not have any sort of security. At best, raw functionality can have a use case or something that needs to be understood, but once you understand it, there's nothing holding you back or anyone else to understand it and use it. So really, In these days, security is really important, you know, with the war going on, and we have many, you know, compromised bigger companies here in Denmark where I'm from, and, you know, just on a daily basis we hear about something, you know. Sometimes it's a result from, you know, activists or hackers from outside the world, and other times it is probably because of human error, who knows. So we're going to talk about some little extra stuff. There's something called sys controls, sys security controls, and this is the, by the way, this is formerly known as SANS critical security controls, or SANS top 20, but now that it is not that anymore, they reduced the 20 security areas to work with to 18. I really like sys security critical security controls because you can basically, you know, you can basically, you know, go to the web page and just go ahead to Google and type sys 18 or sys critical security controls or sys security controls, whatever. It's all gonna fit and find you in Google. And they introduced 18 different kind of levels, and you can see that the very first one is inventory and control of enterprise assets. The second one is inventory and control of software assets, and then data protection, security configuration, enterprise assets and software. You know, all these kind of things is probably what you call controls. As I also mentioned in the start of the presentation for this video, is that controls is commonly mistaken for a security goal, but it could be that your control is intrusion detection prevention, and that is actually a security goal. But again, it doesn't really matter, you know, as long as you do it, you know, because I've seen people, they go all, you know, nuts about, okay, so you're gonna do academic security and really, you know, we're gonna use the correct words all the way, you're gonna make these big papers. No one read them anyways, right? You bring, you know, this bunch of much paper to a technician's office, and they're gonna be like, oh my god, you know, no one's gonna read the papers, you know. So please do something about it and just, you know, get it done. No one really cares if you call it yellow, blue, black, green, white. No one cares, you know. If it's able to be hacked, it will be hacked and be compromised, no matter what you call it, you know. You give it a number, I don't really care. So talk about the things, security goals, controls, whatever, you know, just make it work for you and your company. This is what I suggest as practical security. And practical security is something you can do, implement right here, right now, talk about it. This is the way you're gonna try and work, and this is the way, as the Mandalorians say. So this is the way. So of course we can take a look at it, and I do have a file here. You know, it's just something that I put in my slide, you know, and we can take a look at it. So let me just open it. So now when you open it, you know, this is the paper you can download. It is the paper from the CIS, Center for Internet Security, CIS Controls. Version 8 is the newest one. It's free. It doesn't require anything. You need to register yourself with some sort of email, and that's about it. So they can take you through different kind of things. So it's the CIS Controls. Let's go read about something we probably have been talking about. So data protection. Going to go down there and basically look at this and say, overview, develop processes and technical controls to identify, classify, security handle, retain, and dispose of data. Now, disposal of data, that is something, you know, that many companies kind of forget, because this is containing history. History of stuff that happened in the past is not relevant anymore, should be deleted. And this is really what this is all about. Now, if you're living in Europe, you will have heard about the GDPR regulations, and this is also talking about disposal and different kind of things. Now, other places in the world that's not a part of Europe would probably not have heard about GDPR regulations, but would probably have heard about these kind of things instead, which is not a direct law, but in Denmark and in Europe, you know, GDPR regulations is a law thing that can, you know, give you great bills to pay if you don't follow it. So they of course do give links, and most of these are directly from NIST and stuff, so you can basically read about it. So it's talk about stuff like safeguards, and establish and maintain a data management process. You know, how we do that. So that is a process you need to figure out. So there are many different kind of things in this paper you should pay attention to. I want to say this is not an academic piece of paper. You know, we can just go all the way down. It's only 87 pages, and I just want to assume you can find something interesting more than this. So we're gonna have the there's a glossary in the start, but also pen testing. This is a pen testing bootcamp, so it's also, why is this control critical? So you're gonna read about it and see, does it fit your company, and probably does, and then read about the procedures and tools, and there are different kind of methodologies. There's like the OWASP pen testing methodology, which I'm gonna present at some point. We can just open it. And also the PCI Security Standard Council, which is another, you know, pen testing security guidance. So we can choose the ones here and just basically go down and say, so that is their recommendation for how to do pen testing. And if you go ahead and read this OWASP paper here, you know, it's a wiki page they created. You can read about, you know, how to perform a pen test, you know, in a specific way, and it's the testing framework just talks about these different kind of, you know, network footprinting, reconnaissance, discovery, probing, information, password cracking, and so on, so on. And there are links, of course. You can press this here and follow stuff and you know, use the pen testing framework. The other one is the PCI Security Standard Council, which is from 2017. It's quite new still. And it's gonna talk about, you know, different kind of, you know, things you should do in a pen test. So we have the methodology with the pre-engagement, scoping, documentations, and so on, and really all of this should be followed if you want to do and perform a pen test. So going back to the paper of, let's take a look at it under sys controls. This is really just the way. So I want to say, let's take a step further and see if we can finish the slideshow soon here. So another one is called Nonrepudiation, which is the extra one I want to put a little more focus on to now. So it says, like, non-repudiation ensures that no party can deny that it sent or received a message via encryption and or digital signatures, or prove some information. It also cannot deny the authenticity or its signature on a document. You know, I found this on techtag.com, so kudos to them. I just figured it was written so good, so I couldn't do it better. So really, you know, it's a difficult thing to implement, but please try and think about these things whenever you create a system. You know, if you're a developer or, you know, you're someone, you know, creating content, you know, basically think about the non-repudiation and how we do that. So sources for further study, you know, please take a look at the sources. I'm going to put the links down below in the description so you can get it easier. And this was this video in the pen testing bootcamp. So I'm going to see you again, hopefully online. Have a real nice day and see you.